Farms. We're going to be talking about connecting the dots between breeders, growers, retailers, and home gardeners. And I'm very pleased to be able to welcome Justin Hancock. Justin is the Senior Brand Marketing Manager at Costa Farms in the USA. He's a horticulturist and he's been in the industry for more than 25 years in different segments. He's been a garden editor at Better Homes and Gardens, one of the largest lifestyle publications in North America. He's operated an independent garden center, and now he manages brand marketing for Costa Farms. He's passionate about plants and has helped inspire and educate millions of indoor and outdoor home gardeners across the US and Canada via his work in print, digital, and broadcast platforms. And I'm really pleased that we can welcome Justin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. Good afternoon, everybody. As Tim mentioned, I am Justin from Costa Farms. Costa Farms, if you're not familiar with it, based in Miami, Florida. We are a wholesale grower of indoor, outdoor plants. We ship plants across the United States and Canada, from Miami all the way to Vancouver and Alaska. And even though this presentation is going to be about digital marketing, we are watching the real world very closely right now as there is a large hurricane coming our way. So I would appreciate it if you would think good thoughts for us. But jumping into the digital, the traditional communication chain has followed the supply chain. The breeder talks to the grower talks to the retailer talks to the gardener. This all makes sense, right? I can see a couple of you nodding your heads. When I was a younger, more idealistic gardener, about 15 years ago at Better Homes and Gardens, I attended California pack trials, and I saw a variety that I was really interested in. I wanted to cover it for the magazine. So I was talking to the breeder about it, and the breeder said, I'm not interested. And I was astounded. I said, I can help you reach more than 15 million consumers in the US. And he said, I don't sell to consumers. Today, everything has changed. Today, the gardener wants to hear from the retailer, from the consumer, or from the breeder, and from the grower. They have much more visibility in the supply chain in other industries, and as they get more visibility in the supply chain, they want to know more about every industry, including ours. So Costa Farms, in our various digital media efforts, we have 5 main platforms. The first is organic. Organic is, I call it cost of admission. It's the basic things the consumer expects: a website and social media presence. Now, it's important when you're engaging in social media to really know who your target consumer is, your end consumer or your target customer. You don't need to be on all of them. You just need to be on the ones that are important to the people that you want to talk about. Here at Costa Farms, for example, we reach about 40 million consumers every year between our website and our digital platforms. We also have educational support. So knowing who your target consumer is, we've done a lot of research and we found that one of our core needs, consumers are afraid of growing plants, new consumers. It sounds difficult. They don't want to feel like they're a terrible person if they kill it. And so we are investing a lot in building educational platforms, such as a weekly video series and a podcast to be able to help them get the information they need. The third main pillar is influencer marketing. Now, influencer marketing is important to us because this helps us get out into the plant community and shows that we're active in the community. We can help build relationships with influencers who are influencing and reaching consumers. The fourth platform is paid advertising. This is something new for us. In the past, we've always done organic. Paid advertising is helping us get in front of consumers who may be decorating their homes, but not thinking about the fact that a live plant can be a great asset for their home decor. And then lastly, public relations is our last pillar. Public relations is important for us because this gets us out there, it helps us build our brand, and it helps understand that Costa Farms means something, that we represent, and that it's third-party endorsements. So digging into influencer marketing a little more closely. This is one of the hottest topics in the gardening category right now. More than 60% of consumers say that they are influenced to make purchases by things that they're seeing influencers right online. This is more than double the number of consumers who are saying they're influenced by things that they're seeing brands talk about online, which as a brand marketer kind of makes me sad and makes me much more excited to be able to work with influencers. More than 70% of marketers say that they plan on increasing their digital marketing, especially their influencer marketing budgets for 2023. And this is a several point increase from those who say that they plan to increase their influencer marketing budgets in 2022. So clearly it's working if you do it right. And then nearly half of consumers, nearly half of brands who are working with influencers work with micro-influencers. These are influencers who have audiences less than about 40,000 people, which means it doesn't have to be a big, expensive venture. Now, if you're thinking that influencer marketing is something that it's great for fashion, it's great for jewelry, it's great for other categories, it also really works in our industry. Plantfluencers is a term that's erupted in the media, and we're able to find people like Daryl Chang, who's going to speak next, who have audiences in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So it's a really effective way to be able to reach your target consumer. So why engage in influencer marketing? Four of the main platforms for us is that it helps us meet consumers where they are. Consumers are spending more and more time in digital media, and so by getting there, that's where they are, we're getting in front of them without making them come to us. The second is that it helps build social proof and authenticity. It's really important for a brand to come across as genuine. And by working with influencers who consumers like and trust, we are able to tap into that and help extend that to us. It also helps us connect with future audiences. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, my current audience really isn't using social media much, or they're not engaging in digital. And that may be true, but tomorrow's consumer is. So by getting in front of them, you give them a reason to know who you are, a reason to love you, so that when they're ready to buy your product, they want you. And lastly, there's positive return on investment. Traditional digital advertising has a return on investment around $2 per every dollar spent. When done well, influencer marketing can be more than double that. Now, I think it's important to remember return on investment isn't just dollars. If you're converting to an online store, that's great. But for you and your brand, return on investment might be building brand awareness. So it might be the number of impressions or likes, or you might be wanting to deepen that relationship you have with the consumer. And so it might be about engagements, it might be comments. But regardless, digital influencer marketing is a great way to do that. So in terms of building authenticity, one of the ways that Costa Farms has done this is that we have connected with influencers in an engaging way, rather than just treating them like hired spokespeople. For example, we did an Instagram live event, which was very easy to do, with one of our influencers, House Plus Plant. We released a new product called Geogenanthus. Most American consumers weren't aware of this plant. They had a lot of questions about it. So we did a live Q&A event with the person, reached hundreds of thousands of consumers. She got great content because she was getting directly from the experts, and we were able to be the expert for her platform. We've also done webinars. For example, we worked with an interior designer named Jenny Brown. This was really effective for us because Jenny speaks to people who are decorating their homes. She was able to talk about why she likes to use plants, and then we were able to provide additional context by talking about how you can choose the right plants and how to keep them healthy and beautiful in your home. Now, if you're thinking, I don't know how to find an influencer, you can make your own. If you have somebody with some charisma in your company who's not afraid of getting in front of camera, put them up there. We have several personalities in ours. For example, plant hunter Mike Rimland, great on camera. Consumers love hearing from him. He has great stories. Just one video alone, he had more than 65,000 impressions. So this is working for us. We've done a monthly video series with him. If you want to learn more, check out youtube.com/CostaFarms to see more of Mike. So influencer marketing doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can jump in and do it organically yourself. Now, influencer marketing doesn't have to be a one-way street. You can also get a lot of information from the influencers that you work with. They can be a great source of learning about who your end consumer is. Ask them to do polls, ask them to engage the audience, and find out what you want to learn more about. They're great for pain points, for process development. All of that information is free and readily accessible. Because you're choosing influencers, or you should be choosing influencers who know your target market, you might be able to learn a lot from your audience just by looking to see how the influencer is relating to their audience. You know, the kinds of things they're talking about, this tells you what the consumers care about. If you really have a trusted relationship with an influencer, you can also do market testing, where you present a new product or a new concept to the influencer before you release it. The influencer has a chance to play around with it, to have some experience with it. Again, because they know your audience, they should be able to help you identify pain points, perhaps even give you suggestions on how to launch it. And then when you do launch it, they're going to be much more interested in it. They're going to be able to speak more excitedly and authentically because they've had the product for a while rather than just getting it in the mail. Now, influencer marketing is the hot thing today, but it's important not to overlook social media. Like the keynote speaker this morning said, more and more consumers are spending more and more time on social media. The average in North America, for example, is more than 2 hours a day. So again, you don't want to make consumers come to you, you want to get to where they are. Social media also helps you build a relationship with your consumers. And this is important because it's really easy to think of Facebook or Instagram or platforms like that as publishing platforms, where you're just putting message after message after message out there. But it's really about building relationships. And so you can use it as a customer service tool. You can use it as a relationship management tool, where you're actually engaging, conversing with the consumer rather than just talking at them. It also helps you build the next customer. More than 50% of consumers say that they've discovered new brands on social media. And so by getting in front of them, you can help build this new customer. Again, for Costa Farms, we're looking at people who are decorating their homes. They're not necessarily plant people. We want to convert them into becoming plant people. And then lastly, it's easy to be overwhelmed by the idea of social media. You know, I have to do all of these Facebook posts, I have to do all of these YouTube videos, but it doesn't have to be complicated. We'll talk in a second about how you can optimize your content and make it easy. So a couple of ways that we have used social media effectively. One is to tell our story. So like Abe talked about in the panel, you can really introduce yourself and let consumers get to know who you are and what your values are. Because a lot of consumers are more interested in supporting a company than actually buying the product. And so one of our more successful ones recently was for Hispanic Heritage Month. We introduced our founder. We talked about how he was a Cuban refugee coming to build a new life. And this takes Costa Farms from a giant company into something they can relate with and almost an underdog story. We've also been really successful with posts about sustainability. Consumers care about that, and so we talk about how we're using solar panels, how we're using coconut coir instead of peat moss, and aligning with what we know our consumers care about. Another way that you can use social media effectively is by partnerships. By tapping into people who have similar audiences or similar ethos to yours, you can build your audience and make your consumers feel better about working with, about supporting you. So you can work with brands, you can work with authors. For example, we worked with the author of Grow in the Dark. She did a new book about low light plants. We grow many of these plants, and so we did a giveaway online where consumers got one of the plants and the book. Our consumers were able to learn more, and she got the exposure from our audience. We've also done other brands. One of the most interesting is a company called Bang Shoes. Now, you might be thinking, what do shoes have to do with gardening? We were able to get plants in front of this whole new audience. And for us, everybody who grows plants presumably wears shoes. And so it was a great value for our audience to be able to say, hey, you know, join in this giveaway and get a free pair of shoes. Now, content optimization, you know, this is really important. You don't need to be on every social media channel, and all of the social media that you're doing should be really aligned to your consumer. And it doesn't all need to be fresh new content. For example, we've taken a lot of our social media posts and we've woven them into these downloadable idea books. You can go onto the website, download them. We're able to harvest your email address. And so by putting together books like these from content that we've already created, we've been able to add tens of thousands of new email addresses to our database. Now for you, it might be I have catalog copy that I can take and put online as a social media post. Or I did a presentation to a customer. I can take little tidbits out of here, put this on social because I know it's going to be interesting to the audience. Or do it in reverse, and like we have, take some of your social media posts, use them to create your next customer presentation, your catalog, white papers, or brochures. Now, like some of the other presenters talked about this morning too, you can also get a lot of information about the end consumer by spending time on social media. Ask your audience things that you want to know. They'll be more than happy to tell you. And in fact, they're going to be excited because it makes you look good. It makes them feel good when you show that you care what they think about. It's a great way to get a lot of insights relatively quickly. So we've asked questions about how many plants do you have? And this tells us, okay, you know, this percentage of our audience has a lot of plants, this percentage has a little plants, and so this is a way that we can boost the number of plants in their homes. Now, spending time on social media like this has also allowed us to create new collections. So for example, we've launched a collection called Trending Tropicals. These are some of the hottest, buzziest plants on social media right now. They're either new varieties, they're super trendy varieties, or they're exclusive varieties to us. A lot of consumers call them wish list plants. The Trending Tropicals collection has probably done more in the last 5 years to build Costa Farms brand awareness than anything else that we've done. And it's all by understanding the consumer, knowing what they're interested in. So moving on to some consumer insights. How can you do that? How have we done it? One is, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. So with Trending Tropicals, we see a lot, and the second quote here I think is really exciting, and it tells me that we're doing something right. As soon as a plant becomes super popular, you know Costa Farms is going to be selling it. Consumers feel like we are super reactionary, but they don't know that it takes years to source the material, to trial it, make sure that you can grow it, make sure you can pack it, make sure you can ship it, and then build up enough stock that you can actually get it to them. So the fact that consumers say, as soon as Costa Farms puts out a plant and it's trendy, tells us that we're staying ahead of them. And here's some ways that we're staying ahead of them. One is social listening. You can either spend a lot of time on social media paying attention to what people are talking about, what plants people are talking about, what attributes people are talking about on platforms like Instagram, in private Facebook groups, on TikTok, again, paying attention to who your target audience is and where they're spending the most time. If you don't have the time or the interest to do that yourself, you can also invest in social listening tools that do a lot of the work for you and give you the data so that you don't have to be scraping. We also get a ton of information directly from the consumer itself. We've had more than 40,000 calls, texts, emails, and direct social media messages coming in from consumers so far this year. This is a treasure trove of data. It's not just what they're interested in, it's what problems they're having. And so we're able to fine-tune our mixes, fine-tune our processes, all based on the information that they're giving us for free. And then Google Trends can be a really valuable source of information too. If you don't use Google Trends, it allows you to put in search terms and see the relative volume of search. You can look at this over time. You can compare different search terms. For example, is philodendron more popular than monstera? It allows you to break down into different geographical zones, so we can see, you know, this plant may be more popular on the West Coast. We may want to shift our mix there, or this plant may be more popular in the South. You can also see breakout terms or associated terms. You know, if consumers are looking for pink princess philodendron, they're also looking for pink Congo philodendron. So great source of consumer insights, and it's all 100% free. Now, the next frontier for Costa Farms is social commerce. This statistic from Statista shows that there's going to be about $56 billion spent in social commerce in 2023. Now, this is buying directly online from an Instagram post, from a Facebook post, rather than having to see it, be influenced, go to an online store, or actually go to a physical store. And so we're investing in platforms and insights to be able to do this effectively. More to come on that. So quick recap, influencer marketing allows you to build awareness and engagement. Social media allows you to really dig into relationships, get data and listen. And then consumer insights allow you to put it all together. Next section, we're going to talk about how Costa Farms activates on this, and I hope give you some tips on how you might be able to, for your entire organization, not just for marketing. So you can utilize your digital, media data in a lot of ways. Obviously marketing, we share it with research and development as well, including category management and our sales team. One example with our research and development team is that we tell them, hey, these are the attributes, these are the types of plants that people are talking about, so that they can look at new concepts and enhancing the existing assortment. Raven ZZ, for example, has been phenomenally popular with us. It's a fresh color on a new plant that's easy to care for. When we found a new golden variant that we're calling Chameleon, we knew that this was going to be a hit because it has everything that the consumer is looking for. And so far, it absolutely has been. A couple of the trends that we've been seeing that we're passing on to social media, or sorry, that we're passing on to research and development is variegated plants. Consumers can't get enough of these, particularly plants variegated with shades of white, silver, or pink. Easy care plants. You know, the easier a plant is to grow, the more entry level it is, the more successful the novice consumer can feel like they can have success with us. Climbing and trailing plants like pothos philodendrons, you know, these allow consumers to display a plant in a new way. Hanging from a basket might keep it up away from children or pets. Growing it on a totem allows it to get big, bold leaves, which they can show off on social media, feel successful, and look great. And then plants with big foliage. It started, I think, with Ficus lyrata, but then we saw it move into Monstera deliciosa, Strelitzia, and now some of the plants like the Musa are becoming increasingly popular because they have this big, bold jungle effect. In terms of passing this information on to our category management team, you know, we have information like social media metrics to share with them, email marketing metrics, the Google search data, and then they can use this to compare with other products. So an example how this comes to life, we recently released Philodendron Mayoe. We took a look at how it's been performing on social media in terms of interest and conversation. We looked at how it's been searched on Google Trends. We've compared it to some of the other products. When we launched an email letting consumers know that we're going to be growing it and they can pre-order it, we looked at the open rate and the engagement rate, compared this with products, for example, like Monstera Esqueleto, to be able to gauge how much should we be doing, how quickly should we be doing this. And then lastly, sharing the data with the sales team. So again, Costa Farms is a wholesale grower, and our retailer relationships like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Costco, IKEA are very important. Arming our sales team with this information allows them to tell a great story. One of the big stories they like to tell is that Costa Farms really knows the consumer. They know the consumer in and out, perhaps more than a lot of the competition. Allowing us to know the consumer allows us to put together products that are going to help the consumer feel excited and successful with them, which is great incentive for the retailer. And that Costa Farms is always constantly innovating, so you can be sure that next year, whatever we're going to be presenting to you is focused on the consumer, fresh and fun. So there's a very quick look at how Costa Farms has used digital media, how it's influenced us, how it's affected us, and how it's changed us. We've taken a look at our marketing mix. We've targeted to our core consumer to be able to release the right products at the right time. And I'm now open for questions.
Well, thanks very much, Justin. Mike, you said he was going to be good. He was very good. Yeah, excellent, excellent. I think I was hanging on all of that because there was just so much to take in, and you are genuinely using this whole area we're talking about to make day-to-day decisions in your business and how it's affecting it. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was really inspiring. And I'm sure there must be some questions out there for Justin as a result. So Mariska down here first.
So hello, thank you very much for your presentation, indeed inspiring, like Tim said. And I'm Mariska Dressler from the Green Tech show in the Netherlands. Well, we are obviously also working as an exhibition company with a lot of data. And you were talking about the 38,000 contacts that you have via email, telephone, etc. And I was wondering, how do you get those? Well, the blur of information, actually, do you have like a certain strategic vision on that? Do you have like, it's not strategic, but a template or anything like that to really find the right red thread on how to to steer what the consumers say to you?
Great question. So every time a consumer interacts with us, our customer service team fills out a form with all of the information that we care about. What kind of plant is it? What pot size is it? What retailer do they purchase it from? And then we're able to pull this through data analytics into a dashboard, and that we can manipulate and pull out whenever we need to.
And you have to respond to those as well. So, I mean, all that information coming in is one of the dangers. If you can quickly make yourself look bad on social media if you're not reacting too. So, how does that? Do you suddenly get a big wave of workload on this that can come in?
Absolutely. And whenever there's a new product launching, for example, we know that there's going to be a higher than usual volume.
Yeah.
And so we staff up. We bring extra people in, and make sure they have plenty of training right up front. Because answering a question quickly is no good if you're not able to give the consumer a satisfying answer.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks. Ibo down here, I think.
Hi, my name is Ibo Gulsen. Referring to what Abe van Wingerde said in the previous panel discussion, said, yeah, we deliver to these large big box retailers and they don't really like us to sell flowers to consumers. So I wonder, how about your retailers? How much, are they the same retailers perhaps, or are they different in the market? And how do you see this retail strategy basically developing into the future? Will they be very protective of, imposing their own brand, or do they allow growers to develop their own brand?
That's a great question. It depends on the retailer. We do have much overlap with Metrolina. And one of the strategies that we're using is to make sure the retailer understands that as Costa Farms becomes more and more of a consumer brand, our goal is to become like Pepsi or Nike for plants. Consumers are going to be wanting that brand because they know it. And so we can help influence traffic coming into the store. The more this happens, the more the retailer knows that, hey, Costa Farms is valuable, and so I want this brand in here just like I would Bosch Power Tools or some of the other categories.
Yeah, great. Well, creating brands in our industry is not easy, and I think that's a great ambition to have, most definitely. Great. Okay, thank you. Over there.
Thank you. I have one very simple question, and I have one very difficult question. The simple question is, how long did it take to integrate this whole program in your company? And for yourself, what is a want-to-have or a must-have for the next 5 years? Thank you.
How long did it take us to integrate this? We've really been working in depth on social media for about 5 years. This laid the groundwork for us to be able to start branding, and we have done really invested in branding just over the last 12 months. And I'm sorry, I forgot what the second question was. And I swear it's not just because it was the difficult one.
The difficult one is perhaps to answer, what is for yourself a must-have or a want-to-have for the next 5 years? In this aspect of marketing, where you're not arrived yet. What is your goal for the next 5 years? If it's for yourself or as a person.
So building brand awareness is my biggest goal. Right now we have very low brand awareness, and in the United States you see very low brand awareness overall on the indoor plant side. So that's an advantage in that we have a clean slate. We don't have a lot of fighting to do with other people to get there. But I would love to see us get to the point where we maybe have double-digit brand awareness in the next 5 to 10 years.
Great, thank you. Maybe there's time for one more question, if anyone has a question. Down here, Carol, down the front. Sorry, Katrina, making you run around in there.
Hi, such an insightful presentation. Thank you. I suppose my question almost refers back to the first question from the lady from Green Tech. In terms of the data that you're mining, is that through your CRM system?
Yes.
And is it a bespoke system, or is it one of the well-known brand names? I won't ask you to say which.
We do use a brand name out there.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Finally, thank you again, Justin. We really appreciated your presentation. Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.